Hey y'all, I'm Liz,
And I'm Colleen.
and this is Mystic Midlife, and we are back with some
Something
fun.
weird, something like off the wall a little bit. So let's talk about psychedelics.
Yeah,
Just because this has been in the news a lot lately, and I'm hearing a lot of stuff about it and seeing a lot of studies now. And of
hmm
course, there was that recent signed thing that Trump actually signed, surprisingly,
hmm
probably with pressure from Joe Rogan. About use in studies of ibogaine, and I think psilocybin was included in there, but I'm not sure. But just from a spiritual perspective, if we've had any experiences in the past, we'll talk about that.
yeah,
And also just where this does get mixed in a lot with not just spirituality, but also the leaps and bounds technology wise that they have come up with as far as depression and anxiety for
yeah,
people with PTSD, complex PTSD, are veterans
especially.
that oftentimes came home and were just handed handfuls of pills,
hmm
and the destruction that that created in their life even after going through what they'd already been through,
Yeah.
and how much psychedelics are helping those folks. So we're just going to start off with, let's see here. Let's start off with the ibogaine thing, since that specifically was what was just
So
passed.
I'm not familiar with that. So
Okay.
you'll have to
So
inform me.
ibogaine can be dangerous in that it causes a really fast heart rate. And
Interesting.
there have been some deaths when people went down to like Mexico to have an ibogaine experience
Okay.
because maybe in the beginning wasn't well monitored.
Mm.
Maybe they didn't fully disclose some health problems that they already had,
So there's that.
but they do seem to have a lot more safety when people are doing that kind of stuff under medical supervision. They have an IV in. They are completely surrounded by people that have tested them, made sure that everything is good. They're being watched very closely. Their vital signs are being monitored, etc. It is still not legal to just do that here in the US. What they did by signing that was make it so that some studies could be done.
I like it.
Yeah. I think they're seeing the best results with folks, especially with our veterans, like I was saying earlier, um, when they have really complex PTSD issues, and also people that are addicted to opiates.
Oh,
So
and
this one's a really interesting one. Like, I want to say it was in the 90 percentile of people that did one ibogaine experience, and literally it allows you to go through opiate withdrawal cold turkey without it killing you, because
oh,
opiate withdrawal can be horrific.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it, especially if you're in more of that sedated state, you're being watched. I don't know if I don't know all the mechanisms of it. I'm assuming that maybe it attaches to some of the same receptors.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it helps you skip over that withdrawal
Hmm.
period. But people who do it twice had almost, I mean, it was, I want to say 98% resolution of opioid addiction, no desire to go back. And a lot of these folks that are doing that are having another ibogaine experience maybe once a year just to keep things going, especially if there's any psychiatric issues that they're dealing with. So that one is fascinating.
That is.
And even had some people that were really advocating for it. It has been scheduled as a dangerous drug
Yeah.
with no use for
Yeah.
many years by the United States, and that just changed. At least now there can be some testing on it. But Rick Perry, who was the Republican governor of Texas, who's, I think, never touched a drug in his entire life, had some experiences with soldiers where they had told him how much this had changed their life. And so he became a huge advocate for it in the
Interesting.
state of Texas to try to get that passed with a bunch of other people. And yeah,
Huh.
they finally got some movement forward on it. So
Interesting.
unfortunately, I do worry with some of these things that if we find out that there are positive effects and life-changing effects, that somehow the pharmaceutical companies are going to end up in control of it, which freaks me out. And we'll talk a little bit later about some other stuff where I feel like the pharmaceutical companies, the alcohol industry
Hmm.
are controlling certain things
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But yeah, anyways, Ibogaine, very fascinated.
Yeah.
So definitely, you guys, we're not advocating for anything. We are not recommending anything.
We're
We are
just
not your
discussing
medical
it.
provider. We're just discussing like all the
Yeah.
stuff you guys are probably just like us hearing about on the internet.
Yeah.
That, I mean, we could have some really interesting times ahead based on that.
Well, okay. So not to like interrupt the process of what we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
but there was a documentary that was on,
There's a bunch of good
there was a
documentaries right now.
four-part documentary on Netflix
Mhm.
that I watched a year or two
You can
ago.
tell we just like all of a sudden randomly decided to talk about this because I can't remember the name of the show, but
Yeah.
it was really good. It was Mark. I want to say his name is Mark. I started reading the book. It's outstanding, and I cannot remember the name of the guy that wrote it. It's about changing your mind. Is the name of the book.
Oh, I think that's what the show was.
I think that's what they named the
I think that's what
Netflix
they
show
called the
too.
Netflix
Yes, but
show.
it goes over multiple psychedelics. It
Four
talks
different
about-
ones.
Yeah.
4 different ones. It talks about MDMA. It talks about
LSD,
LSD. It talks about
and
psilocybin.
ayahuasca.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to say ayahuasca.
I
was
think
one
so,
of them.
yes. So yeah, and then as far as like in different parts of the world,
Mhm.
how they have utilized that. And like in certain countries, they do administer LSD under complete medical supervision.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't realize that was being used by psychiatrists back in the 50s. Cary Grant, the actor,
Yeah.
he heavily used LSD in therapy.
Interesting.
And then, of course, then you run into all the CIA stuff and the MK Ultra stuff, where it looks like a lot of that stuff was being passed out into the hippie community for some nefarious purposes. Because to some extent, when people are under the influence of some of those medications,
you can break their psyche.
you can do things.
Yeah.
You can control certain things.
Yeah.
Which probably is the case with a lot of psychedelics.
Yeah.
Because you're opening up channels in the brain that haven't been accessible before.
Because we only
You're
use a small
resetting the
portion.
brain.
But we use a small portion of our brain.
Yeah. So how much is that opening up? That's why this research is going to be really important.
Yeah.
But yeah, LSD's been around for a long
time.
A long time. I want to say it was actually invented much earlier than that, early 1900s or something, lysergic acid. I want to say. Anyways.
Yeah.
But just really didn't get heavily used and put out into the population until it does look like the CIA was doing some funky stuff like Haight-Ashbury, San Francisco area.
Which, by the way, if you're not aware, I did happen to see a thing that they have come clean that MK Ultra was a real thing.
Oh, they've been having the hearings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The part of the world, part of what does not necessarily get shown to the masses.
You mean our government really doesn't have our best interests at heart and hasn't for like many years? Oh,
shocking.
God.
Shocking.
Yeah.
But yeah, so MK Ultra was in fact a thing, may never have stopped. I don't know. Could still be happening right now.
Well, they just named it something else probably.
For real.
So,
but
anyway. Yeah, here
I
we go. We'll go down that rabbit hole later.
At another time.
But because I love me some conspiracy stuff. But no, so you've got the LSD,
yes,
as well. Though I don't think that's as commonly used for the purposes that we're talking about today, as far as spiritual healing.
I don't know, but it was as far as they were
really help from a therapeutic standpoint.
That's what they were using it for severe issues within the psyche that were needing to be reconfigured.
Unfortunately, I don't think that it has all the facets known like some of these other ones do. And I think that it can have negative experiences in some people, especially if maybe they already have a tendency towards schizophrenia, that kind of thing. It could cause a psychotic break.
Yeah.
But I've even heard that with marijuana.
Yeah.
Somebody that already has that tendency towards being schizophrenic, it could set something off.
Well, and that has to do with the genetic sequencing.
Yeah.
Like an actual gene.
So just, you would have to be careful about who you were administering these things to. And that's why I do think that research is really,
really important.
Yeah.
The LSD, I think the area, I want to say it was in like Scandinavia, in one of the Scandinavian countries that they were actually doing that particular one. I could be wrong.
Well, I think Europe has been ahead of the game on a lot of the research studies for a lot of this stuff.
Most likely.
Yeah. Because there's differences in legalization. I mean, what was it? I think it was during the Nixon administration. Basically, everything got cut off.
Yeah.
everything was bad. Drugs are bad,
Literally,
okay?
y'all are bad.
Drugs are bad, okay? Just everything.
Yeah.
And like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit later on. But so we've talked about ibogaine briefly,
Yeah. Learned
LSD
about
briefly. Psilocybin is one of the ones that I'm really, really interested in and don't have any experience with, really. So, besides other people telling me stuff, but really interesting studies coming around the bend about how it works with depression and anxiety, especially as a microdosed medication. Psilocybin in small quantities taken over, a few days a week. They've seen massive improvements in postpartum depression, especially. So it's and also in hospice patients. This one really fascinated me just because of my prior experience. People that were terminal, knew they were dying, kind of had an idea of what their endpoint was, that had a lot of terror and anxiety based around the knowledge that they were going to die,
Yeah.
did a medically supervised large dose of psilocybin, and afterwards did not have problems with anxiety anymore
Huh.
about that. Like they knew it, they understood that it was going to happen, but it removed so much of their anxiety. And I'm sitting there going, wow. So what you're saying is there's actually something out there that we've been taking for centuries, if not millennia. I mean, like even the Vikings were eating magic mushrooms.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that much older cultures, cavemen, etc.,
Came across
we're
it.
eating magic mushrooms as well. It predates alcohol as far as human consumption.
Oh, absolutely.
Does it reset the brain? And if we have hospice patients that it could help, instead of just, honking them up on a ton of other anxiety medications, benzodiazepines, etc., why aren't we looking at that as an option? Pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
So interesting.
It's hard to patent something that is grown in the air.
Yeah.
It makes it
you can't
really
make money off it.
You can't. You can't because you can grow psilocybin on your own. It is finicky.
Yeah.
I have not grown it, but I am aware of people who have.
Yeah.
I'm
sure they live in a state where it's legal, right?
Sure. Probably.
The fact that we're even trying to manage this kind of stuff at this point,
Yeah.
in our
lifetime.
Is like, at what point do we just go, really, is this what we're worried about?
Yeah.
Is this what we're worried
There
about?
are bigger freaking fish to fry.
Well, especially I saw a great comment the other night because everybody is very upset in the state of Tennessee that they have now made it so that you can't obtain THCA. They won't legalize marijuana.
No.
They won't create a way that people can get it with a prescription from a medical perspective. So a lot of people were partaking of THCA in hemp products.
Delta 9.
Yeah. So basically THCA, once it's lit and carboxylated, is just straight up THC, Delta 9 THC, which is what you would get if you were smoking regular marijuana.
Yeah.
And they have removed that option now. A bunch of shops that had been here for years that were really doing well were shut down. It has decreased the tax income, etc.
You can still get the drinks. It's just under 50 milligrams. I think the max is 30 milligrams that you can have.
I think it's under 30. And you have to be at 0.3% or something like that of total volume.
Oh, I don't know about that.
That's how they figure it out. So
yeah. Which I still partake because I don't drink alcohol.
Yeah.
So
well, and that's what I think is at the root of it right now is the
alcohol industry, the lobbyists.
Well, I mean, you've got a huge one here in Tennessee. You've got Jack Daniels, etc. I know that the one that put the most pressure on the most recent bill
was the Kentucky dude.
It was Mitch McConnell. I saw the funniest video the other day.
But he's not even alive.
There was some guy that was showing these pictures. He was like, "Is Mitch McConnell dead?" Yes.
Yeah.
Is Mitch McConnell alive? No. Like he was asking questions, but it was like he was immediately answering them. Anyways, I digress. He had put it on there, and he had happened to receive from the Kentucky alcohol lobby $100,000.
Not surprised.
Right before putting that on.
Not surprised.
So, there is an argument for how much.
50
for how
kilograms.
much tax income that it will
Oh,
provide to the state if it was to be legalized.
absolutely.
There just is.
Hello,
Absolutely.
look at other states
People are going
who've
to
already
do it
done it.
regardless.
For real.
And yeah. So 41 states, I believe, have medical legalization.
Interesting. Okay.
I want to say it's 26 or 27 states. It's just fully legal.
Yeah.
Fully legal at this point. It's been in California for many years, as we know.
Well before I moved here.
And so it just really shocks me because there's a lot of people that are figuring out that alcohol is a really dangerous.
The level one carcinogen.
The comment that I was trying to make my point earlier and totally forgot and it left my head was some guy was like, they call marijuana the gateway drug, but alcohol
is the gateway drug
to other stuff. Yeah. So, some people partaking that are like gym bros that go in the sauna and the cold plunge every day and don't want to drink alcohol and want to have a seltzer at night or maybe even smoke a little bit or something like that. Is that really where the danger lies in our society? Because people that have had some marijuana probably are not acting out of sorts the same way that people do when they're drunk.
Look, I don't know anyone who has ever had either sativa or indica. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter if you the upper or the downer. Mm-hmm. I've never once known someone who was high to do anything other than want to.
Might have some paranoia.
Maybe a little paranoia.
And there are people that when they do too much, like we said earlier, if you already have some underlying psychiatric issues, they might have a problem. Mixing it with other things can be a problem.
Yeah.
But
you don't. I would say
alcohol sales have dropped.
They have 98% of the time. We're gonna generalize this because I feel like that's a pretty decent percentage wise. 98% of the time, the person who is high on any form of marijuana is not doing anything ratchet.
They're probably at home eating an entire tray of brownies with ice cream, watching South Park,
or the one time I got
hanging out.
Yeah. One time I got too high, y'all, me on alcohol, loud AF. Mm-hmm. Me too high, I sink on my couch and I just sit there because I'm like,
she gets couch locked.
What is happening? Yeah. I turn into a little couch statue.
So I know we're talking about psychedelics and you guys may be going, okay, well, why is marijuana being brought into this conversation?
It's still part of it.
It is in that when you smoke marijuana, it is not a psychedelic. Oh, when you ingest marijuana. It is.
Yeah.
It's a slightly different chemical reaction when it goes to the digestive tract.
Yeah.
So it can have more
full body.
It can have more psychedelic type of markers.
Yeah. The body high versus head high.
Yeah. So it just depends on
what you do.
What you're doing.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we had that marijuana discussion.
Yeah. But back to psilocybin. So psilocybin and then amanita. Mm-hmm. I've had experiences with both as far as microdosing. Mm-hmm. And then I had major trip where I did both of them together.
I'm very, very interested to hear about those.
Dude.
So yeah.
That was
Amanita, by the way, is legal. However, there are a lot of like gas station type Amanita stuff that I've heard is dangerous. It can.
Well, it's like what the kratom stuff and stuff like that. That's terrifying.
I think there's some. Kratom was legal up until recently as well.
Yeah, because it was terrifying.
But I think some people have seen good effects when they have opioid addictions with kratom. So I don't know. Then maybe that's something that needs to be regulated.
Yeah, but then I think
and that's where I think we get to the point of, are these things being processed correctly and regulated? When something's legalized, it by definition will end up regulated and taxed. And that's fine.
Yeah.
They'll make sure that the quality is up to par, et cetera, that it's not going to be killing people.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make things illegal, people get things on the black market.
Yeah.
And
then there's
bad things end up happening.
Totally.
So that is what I'm worried about from that perspective.
Yeah.
But I know that Amanita is different from psilocybin, completely different actions. But I have heard that people that microdose it
does have similar effects.
It has similar effects. And that one does happen to be legal. Psilocybin, of course, we know is not.
Yeah.
But that's the one that is really showing the best effects from a depression and anxiety standpoint.
Yeah.
Especially postpartum depression. It's resetting something in the brain.
Well, I will say the experience that I had when you have a trip that intense, or even like I had like a super intense one. I also had one that was not super intense, but I was definitely like feeling more than just microdosing.
You feel like there was a brain reset?
Well, so like,
did you ever have the ego loss that everybody talks about?
I don't know if I
Where
had
you felt
that.
like very connected to everybody else, or
I mean, it was a very chill situation that it was with 3 other friends.
So you had a good
It
experience.
was here. Yeah. Cause I was like, this is the first time I'm doing it. I did it with other people who have done it before because I was like, I'm not going to do this by myself. Set the mood, made sure there were snackies in case we were wanting snacks. Like, I mean, I did the hostess with the mostest thing.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be in my space because if I randomly happen to have a bad trip, I wanted to make sure I was somewhere I knew. It was not a bad trip at all. I also realized that because I was being hostess, not until the moment that I finally like let go of everything that
I've heard a lot of
hit
people
me
say
hard.
that you need to relax and release.
Yeah.
And that's a very hard part to let go of the control.
Yeah. And when I did that,
like I worry about that with my personality.
Whew, I looked at the mirror and I literally was like going in and out and like turning bright red and then not bright red and then bright red and then not bright. And I literally had to come out in the living room. I was like, hey, like, am I red? They're like, no, your skin color. And then when I finally laid down to go to sleep, that's when everything happened.
Oh,
and it was so wild. And like, as I was falling asleep, it was, it was like a magic school bus situation, which sounds so crazy, but like I went into my own body and it was like,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Magic school bus style. But then it was like
the creepy teacher with the red hair on there.
No, it was just me, but it was like, I'm
joking.
Yeah. No, but
you were the magic.
I was the magic school bus. I was Miss Frizzle.
Miss Frizzle. I'm sorry. I didn't watch that show. I'm too old. So.
Oh my God.
Kids didn't really watch it a whole lot.
Either, it was so good. But yeah, but it was like this wild, brightly colored environment inside of my body. Like kind of like Alice in Wonderland style.
Oh, cool.
Where there were like all these things and creatures.
Which
and
we all know Alice
in
Wonderland was definitely written on a psychedelic.
Definitely. 1000%. And then like I finally like made it into my stomach. And then there was this whole civilization living in my stomach of these like creatures.
I love it.
And
this is great.
We were at a concert.
Wow.
And then I fell asleep.
And then you fell asleep.
But they were just like, hey, like not actually speaking, but like ushering me in. And then we were at this.
That's so cool.
But it was like the colors were so vibrant and so exciting and it just felt like good. There was nothing, I did not have a bad trip at all.
Yeah, which some people do. I mean, that happens with everybody.
Yeah, but I will say the next day, and this
it is hard when you're a control freak to let go of that whole idea of allowing something like that to occur.
Yes. Well,
and knowing that you don't have any control of what's going to happen.
Exactly. But I will say, so like that time and then the time before where it was not that big of a trip, it was a lesser trip, but I was still enjoying myself. And that time I think was just Amanita. But what ended up happening the next day, because I think it creates such a dopamine rush in the body.
It definitely is going to mess with I know the Amanita works differently.
Yeah.
So I do think Amanita is more dopamine based, I want to say. I'm not sure. Don't know my chemistry on this one.
But it's different. Some homework for us.
Yeah, it's more homework. Let's make sure we do a podcast and talk about stuff and just randomly decide that we're going to talk about this. No. But we're not trying to come off as experts.
No, but we can do homework after this for our own reasons.
Yeah, you guys do homework too.
Yeah. But the next day it was kind of like you have that drop off. Okay. And so you kind of feel like, ugh. But then you feel fine after that.
Whereas I've heard people that have gone to retreats and stuff like that where they've done psilocybin, though there is some time afterwards where they have to really assess what's happened to them. There's still just this wonderful feeling afterwards of that reset within the brain.
I did feel good after that. And I think too, like because I've done like just the microdosing of the Amanita and that feels good too. And that kind of just gives you like that chill kind of
Yeah.
like, okay,
Well, and I
that
will
feels
say,
good.
from what I've heard about with the psilocybin microdosing, they are not experiencing any psychedelic effects at the dose that they're taking.
Yeah.
Very, very small dose.
Yeah.
It's literally meant to even out their neurochemicals without causing a high or anything. If anything, all the Silicon Valley bros that were doing it for a while, they said they were more creative, more able to work more efficiently,
Yeah.
just able to focus better, etc. So
And that's what it does.
that's why you're seeing more people
Wanting to go that route.
wanting to go that route.
Yeah.
And then we go into the 5-MeO DMT that they're doing now, and DMT in general.
Yeah.
They used to call it like the businessman psychedelic because it was a short term. DMT is in so much stuff. It's in most of our food. There's tons of DMT in an orange,
But
for instance.
our brain also creates it, doesn't it?
Yes,
From
they think in the pineal gland.
Yeah.
So that's why there is some talk that perhaps when we're dying, we release a ton of DMT,
Yeah.
and that's what helps create that feeling. Is it a portal though? That's what I want to know. But so the thing is even though it's in a lot of the foods that we eat, we have an enzyme called monoamine oxidase that breaks it down.
Mhm.
So even if we ingested a whole bunch of it, immediately gone from our system. It's immediately broken down. So you're not going to, eat 6 oranges and all of a sudden have a DMT trip. Okay. So, a lot of times they were saying that folks would smoke this
Mhm.
and have a short, because it'll cross the blood-brain barrier when they smoke it. Obviously, there's no enzyme breaking it down in the stomach.
Yeah.
And they'd have these short 5 to 20-minute experiences.
Kinda
Where
like
many of them saw similar things. Machine elves, just weird, basically the cover of a Tool album.
my God, I have Tool, Adam.
Fractals.
I have
Tool.
that.
Yes, I mean like every
No,
one of
but
his
literally,
albums,
because
but yeah.
if you've seen, it is trippy AF.
Well, yeah, he's got the same artist.
Yeah.
Maynard has a similar artist that does a lot of that artwork.
Yeah.
Really cool stuff with fractals and that kind of stuff. So anyway, there were people that were doing that, but now they're doing actual studies and experiments with giving people IV DMT and controlling the dosage
Oh,
because they're
shit.
trying to figure out dosing. Sorry, where I think one guy has recently had a 5-hour DMT experience. They all tend to see very similar things, interact with entities, and there's even cases of people that have done DMT multiple times, had their trips, seen the entities, talked with the entities, had ego death in some cases, that kind of thing. And then at some point they have a trip and all of a sudden they're told, no, you're not allowed here anymore. And it'll completely shut them down no matter how much DMT they're given. They're kicked out for a certain amount of time. Really interesting. And then maybe they'll be let back in later, maybe they won't. So yeah, I was recently listening to a podcast about this, and it was really like interesting. So is this a portal to somewhere else? Is
Well,
this
because science has already proven that there are multiple, my gosh, I want to say realms, but
dimensions?
yeah, thank you, multiple dimensions. And so who's to say that DMT doesn't open you up to one specific one?
Yeah, it lets you travel there and visit for a little bit and then head back home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing as far as like you saying, like we release that into that. Okay. So okay, my brain's going lots of places right now. Okay. So who's to say that if our body is capable of releasing the DMT, okay, if it does flood the system as we're leaving this existence,
that it allows for the soul to go through some kind of portal,
the Akashic call.
Yeah, or wherever it is that we do go.
Yeah. And so maybe that's what it is as far as like the DMT.
They call DMT the God molecule.
Yes. So then maybe that puts us back into where our soul actually is meant to chill until the next incarnation.
Who knows? Lots of interesting discussions I've heard about this. So fascinating. And then when you bridge from DMT, so I'm going to explain ayahuasca now.
Okay.
Because this one is fascinating. Thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
Use by the natives in the Amazon area, and Peru, etc. how they figured out to mix these two different plants together still, like, how do you understand the chemistry of this?
Maybe they were given it.
Maybe they were given it. Maybe they have been, maybe at different points in our history, we have been more advanced than we realize. So that's an entirely different discussion. But ayahuasca is fascinating in that it is DMT in one of the herbs that's used.
Mhm.
And then I believe the actual ayahuasca vine
Mhm.
is a monoamine oxidase inhibitor.
Okay.
So you've got monoamine oxidase is what's breaking down that DMT in the stomach. But if you add a monoamine oxidase inhibitor, which is something that is contained in many of our antidepressants that we get from a pharmaceutical level,
Okay.
you're ingesting a drink that is a mixture of DMT and a monoamine oxidase inhibitor. You drink it within a certain amount of time. You usually tend to start having your visions, etc. Sometimes it can make you throw up. I've heard psilocybin can do the same thing
Yeah.
because of the chitin that's in the mushrooms. Like your body just doesn't want to digest it, makes you sick.
Either that or you expel it out the other way.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm assuming either direction is
Either
appropriate.
direction. And then the high hits you hard
Yeah. I will admit to trying ayahuasca
at a point in your life.
at a point in my life and was with a great group of people. So that was a positive part of it. Had a good experience, but was also given the message that this ain't my jam.
Yeah.
That it's not something that I should particularly continue to head down that path.
Yeah.
But I had a very good and interesting experience trying it.
Yeah.
Not everybody does.
Yeah.
And once again, how much of that is based on people that maybe weren't real honest about what medications they were on, had a diet that wasn't going to particularly make that particular experience good.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe went to some place to have that experience that didn't know what they were doing, didn't know how to dose people correctly, weren't using what they said they were using, etc. Or perhaps had a history of psychiatric issues to begin with.
Yeah.
So who knows on that one? I will say definitely if you guys are interested in this, there is a plethora. I love saying plethora.
It's a good word.
Because of the three amigos. But anyways, I love saying the word plethora. There is a plethora of information out there on all of these.
All of it. All of it.
More so than we could ever give you.
Yeah.
But we just wanted to kind of normalize the discussion a
Yeah,
little bit. I think
absolutely.
it's getting more and more normalized. Like
Yeah.
you're hearing more and more people talking about it and not being so scandalous
Well, because
about the usage of it because we see the good effects.
Well, the good effects, then also when you really break down the negative effects of some pharmaceuticals, and that there have been, like, Zoloft had to be taken off the market for a period of time because more people were killing themselves than not. And it's like, that's terrifying.
If we have natural studied uses of these kinds of plants,
Yeah.
we need to be using them.
Yeah.
Like people did for thousands of years.
Absolutely.
So, maybe they did know something we didn't. We need to stop being being as egotistical as we tend to be in modern culture, that the way we do it is right. I mean, the Chinese still use traditional Chinese medicine and they've been doing it for thousands of years.
Look,
so okay, maybe not thousands.
No.
No,
I think thousands of
well
years.
Over 1,000 years.
Yeah. But like traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurveda, they know what's up. I actually just had a discussion with friends about
and it's
this.
accepted mixed with modern medicine.
Modern medicine.
Yeah.
Because there's a place for everything. But if we can go the route, we can go the route of the holistic first. And the other day, I had a discussion with friends about this the other day, but it was specifically about the current parasite that's happening, which I'm like, they were like, oh, science, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, this is not a science thing. And I'm thinking in my mind, I'm like, how arrogant are we to think that we're the only nation, the only country in this world that doesn't deal with parasites? You've got to be out of your fucking mind. No, parasites have always existed in the US. They just don't talk about it.
Yeah, it's not talked about as commonly. My son-in-law lived in Korea for a long time. He's part Korean. But he said it's just common knowledge there that you do a parasite cleanse with your kids. You give
multiple
them certain
times
medications.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we are the only country that does not do a twice a year parasite cleanse, which I do multiple different ones throughout the year.
We're very, very once again, egotistical.
Yes.
I don't know. We tend to think that everything that we do here is so clean, but these are organisms that have been around much longer than we have, and they're in the dirt, they're in the water, they're in our food.
They're there.
Everybody just needs to acknowledge that you can't see them.
Sometimes you can.
They don't necessarily kill you. There's plenty of parasites that just hang out, don't want to kill you because you're a great host.
They love to eat heavy metals.
Yeah. And so the point is, we need to acknowledge that stuff is going on, and that there are a lot of natural herbal remedies that people can do before hopping up to the next level.
Yeah.
So there are some good tried and true old pharmaceuticals that help quite a bit.
Also that. Well. Yeah.
So yeah, interesting on that one.
Yeah.
And I guess we will kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
With the like I said, marijuana also known to be helpful. I mean, in the hospice field, there are legalized versions, for instance, of Marinol, which we use across the US. Medicare pays for it.
Mm-hmm.
It is lab created, so therefore made by a pharmaceutical company, THC, to help with people's appetite.
Yes, especially those who have cancer.
If you have cancer and you're going through chemotherapy, they will cover that medication for you.
Yeah.
So at what point is it okay that, as long as it's created by a pharmaceutical company and money is being made, that those same things couldn't be regulated for medical purposes at the very least?
At the very least.
At the very least.
Yeah.
And we're almost there. Majority of states are okay with it.
Yeah.
But you are ingesting it. So there is some danger of it being a psychedelic.
Yeah.
And having some psychedelic
issues,
but also benefits. So anyways, just some things to ponder, you guys. I'm sure I've missed some, like peyote.
Oh yeah, there's peyote. There's, what's the tree frog thing?
So if you're talking about the Sonoran frog, that's the 5-MeO-DMT.
No.
Are you talking about combo?
Combo.
I did combo.
Ooh.
That does not necessarily create any psychedelic effects. That cleanses you. And when I say
purge,
cleanse, you ain't never experienced a cleanse like this. I have to say, honestly, I will never do it again. I don't think. I should.
Yeah, that's wood.
Never say never, because you definitely have been cleansed like no other cleanse ever cleansed.
Better than.
And there's a lot of people that really do state that it has benefits long term for certain conditions. And some people that do claim benefits based on illnesses that they had that they no longer had afterwards. I have no supportive evidence for that beyond their stories. And I do see where, with that amount of a purge, you could run into dangers.
Yeah.
I will say, immediately, as soon as that venom is wiped off. So what they do, they either burn or cut. I had 5 burns on the side of my arm, and then they put the venom on there from the toad, and you get this warm flush that comes through you, and then the purging starts from everywhere. And your face usually swells up a bit, which tends to look a bit like an allergic reaction, which can be scary.
Yeah.
Sweating, heat, just full, like I said, full purge from every place on your body, your skin, you name it. And then they allow you to do that. They wipe it off and you're fine. Like, no joke. You feel euphoric. But afterwards, you feel okay. Unless you're too dehydrated.
Yeah.
Don't get electrolytes back, etc.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see where people could have severe headaches, dehydration, or if they have underlying health conditions, it could be incredibly dangerous.
It could be a medical event.
Yeah, there could be a medical, if the people that are doing so don't have the training to recognize that. So yeah, that's not necessarily a psychedelic that I guess maybe it would be classified as that. But
it could, in the sense of
it's just considered medicine by the people in the Amazon that use it.
Yeah.
So when somebody's really ill, that's how they purge. Increases body temperature, so you could see how, for instance, if you had a parasite or some kind of illness, that
I wonder
a traditional medicine man or woman would go, hey, you need to purge.
I wonder
There's this.
I wonder how that would affect like cancer cells within the system.
That's what a lot of people do use it for.
Oh,
Yeah. A lot of people that do try that particular type of medicine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the same as like the, what is it?
And like I said,
autophagy, where the cells eat themselves if you're not.
yeah, but that usually
that's
requires long-term
fasting.
fasting
Yeah.
or ketogenic diet, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. So I don't know that that's how it works. Like I said, I do not know enough about that particular. I may have tried it once, but like I said, I probably won't ever try it again.
Yeah.
Definitely, if that is something that somebody was interested in, they would need to do a lot more research and talk to somebody that knows what the heck they're talking about that. But
that's fascinating though.
Yeah, it's amazing how immediately, as soon as it's wiped off,
you're good to go. I mean, not good to go, but
the symptoms stop. They're done. So interesting.
Very interesting. Not sure if I would ever want to do it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Yeah. Hey, interesting to try, especially when you're in another country where it's legal to do so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Never been so clean.
Girl, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, just clear me out. Let's reset this gut microbiome.
I was born a new person after that. Let me tell you.
Like Candida, what? You don't exist anymore.
It couldn't. It was like, I'm out of here. Anyway, okay. So yes, like we said, we do not advocate for any of this.
No.
We do not say, hey, you should try this. What we're trying to do is just make it so that people can have some more open discussions.
And also, if you want more information,
and a lot of people are headed that way.
Yeah. Also, if it's still available on Netflix, check out the series. It was a 4-part series, and changing your mind or something like that. Yeah. Fascinating. And like they go way more into like the specific details.
There's also I want to say an older one with Joe Rogan called The God Molecule.
Oh, interesting.
That's about DMT. I think it's The God Molecule.
Interesting.
That's about DMT. And then there's also Paul Stamets.
Who's that?
He is the mushroom guru.
Oh.
Not just about magic mushrooms, but about mushrooms and fungi in general.
Oh, and they're like how they're a whole
mycelial networks,
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. This man has been doing research for years. He is amazing. He has I believe, a Netflix documentary as to also about fungi and how important.
Because he's a fun guy.
Because he's a fun guy. Dude even wears like a mushroom hat. It's made out of mushroom material.
Stop.
So yeah, if you guys, like I said, there is so much more available for people to
so much information
go through, and watch. And if you feel like, couch rotting and doing some research, look on Netflix, look on some of the other ones, and just take a look at them. It's very, very interesting. We have interacted with these medicines for thousands of years. So
also look at Chinese medicine, traditional Chinese medicine for things, and look into.
Seen a lot of great stuff with menopause and infertility.
Yes,
with traditional Chinese medicine.
Yes, and also Ayurveda.
And Ayurveda, yep.
Yeah, Ayurveda. Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm sure.
No, I think you said it right.
So we love you guys.
All right.
Bye. See you later.